I think that right now we are in the middle of a big movement for Crown Zenith. Now, if you're newer or you haven't been around for a while, Crown Zenith was available everywhere for a long time. It was super cheap. They printed an absolute ton of it. ETBs were like 30 bucks at one point. Sea and Sky boxes at Sam's Club were everywhere. Singles were super cheap. It was just like, and it's a crazy set. There's insane artworks with some of like possibly some of the best artworks for certain Pokemon that we've ever had. It's just a super, super stacked set. And things finally, started to move. It started to get expensive, but I genuinely think that right now we're about to see it take another leg up. We're starting to see a lot of singles move. We're starting to see a lot of sealed product continue to run up. I'm going to break down everything in this video, but let's just start. Let's get straight into it. We have to talk about the Suicune V and by extension, all three legendary dogs. Now, there was quite a few videos I remember making quite a ways back where saying like, hey, pick up these legendary dogs. You can get all three for well under 100. I think you get all three for like 80 at one point. But now we are seeing a lot of all-time highs across the board, but we'll break it all down. Starting with the Suicune V, an absolute stunning card, legendary dog, nostalgia and just insane artwork, right? 44% in the past 3 months. Is currently a $50 card. If you zoom out, we are at an all-time high. Previous all-time high was around $44 in January. It also dipped back up to that price in May and then came back down to 32. A year ago, this was a $19 card. This is GG number 38 that we are looking at for the Suicune V. So right now, just a big price movement there. And this card, definitely the better of the three legendary dogs, but just it's going to bring up the other legendary dogs. They're a trio, they're a set. And right now we're also seeing a price increase in PSA 10s. Last sold as of this recording 300. Before that 275 and 250. Another 270 down here. So just keep in mind that PSA 10s are going to be moving up. Even though a lot of these cards that we're talking about for PSA are high pop, there's just so many people who will want this card in a 10. And we're in like this PSA 10 like amalgamation, just like the swarm of just like frenzy of everyone wants all these PSA 10s, and every PSA 10 is going up across the board, and Crown Zenith is no exception. Entei V right here, I mean, look, we're up 60% in the past 3 months. Maybe the weakest of the three artwork wise. It's still fun. It's just a little cartoony. Trust me, I love the card, but maybe the weaker of the three, if I'm being honest. Supply starting to get lower on Entei and Raikou. You can see 54 copies versus there was 100 of Suicune currently listed. But 60% in the past 3 months right here. You can see obviously at an all-time high. Previous all-time high was around $33. That was back in March. And a year ago, $17 card. So up to 41, more recent, $45 sale. And lowest listeds are kind of right there in that $40 range. So something else just to keep an eye on. Like I said, these three cards that we're talking about at the beginning will move together. The Raikou V, another all-time high. Check out where we're at right now, $40. Only 50 copies currently listed. A year ago, $20 card. Previous all-time high right here at $32. So that's what we're seeing, at least from the trio. And obviously these are strong cards, but we're also seeing a ton of movement happening from some of the lesser valued like Galarian Gallery cards. We'll talk about in 1 second. Lowest listeds right now on this, $38. I forgot to mention card number. This is GG41 for the Raikou V. So absolutely stunning cards, right? The legendary dogs, they're great. But like this is another example of something that's moving up big right now. Lapras. This is the Lapras GG05. Absolutely stunning card. Great artwork. Maybe, I don't know, is this, name a better Lapras in the comments if you can. Lapras doesn't get a ton of attention, but Gen 1 Pokemon, just really nice looking card. But check out this jump that we're seeing on this card currently. 209% in the past 3 months. Just in the past 3 months, it went from a $6 card currently up to around a 20. So now what's happening with this is very interesting because we could see this trickle over to other Galarian Gallery cards. The Galarian Gallery is huge. There's 70 cards in the Galarian Gallery alone, and all of them are really good art, right? And, some of them are like lesser Pokemon. They probably won't ever see like huge movements, but we'll start to see people start to speculate, off of this card moving, and they'll go like, okay, what's the next Galarian Gallery card? And this is kind of a no-brainer that it saw an uptick because the art is really good and it's a Gen 1 Pokemon. So it doesn't super surprise me to see it happening. But these things it feels like they creep up on us and they happen rather quickly. And if you want to see some crazy numbers, 680% on the year a year ago, this was a $2.50 card. Had a previous run up to around $8 in February, and then kind of cooled down around 6, 7 before taking off to around 20 currently. So we'll see if it can hold this $20 mark. It might fall off of the 20. Could rise a little bit more. I don't know. If I had to guess, it'd probably come down a little bit. Maybe it runs up a little bit more, 21, 22, 25, and then it comes down. I'm not exactly sure, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to hold around this $20 price. But I definitely think we'll see some other movement from other Galarian Gallery cards just off of this one moving. I know PSA 10s are up on this one as well. I know that this is a tough card to grade. I have quite a few copies of this card, and none of them PSA 10 candidates. A lot of these cards have print lines or like slight scratching on the front, so they can be tough to grade from at least my experience. Then we do have to we'll talk about some of the chase cards from the set. Currently, the Giratina VSTAR, this is number GG69, gold card, absolutely stunning in person. This picture does not do it justice. This card sparkles and shines. Crown Zenith, probably the best gold cards that we've ever gotten. So yeah, just a top tier card, but we're starting to see some more movement on this one as well. 38% in the past 3 months, from around 150 up to over 200 right now. Market at 214, 215. Most recent sale at $235. If you zoom out, the previous all-time high, which we're kind of right there, we're at the all-time high of 214, 215. So we are pretty much tied. The most recent sale surpasses that. So we'll have to see if we can continue to hold. I definitely could see a scenario in which these cards all move up, all of the golds, with this one being the most expensive, obviously. But lowest listeds right now are around 205. You have just a few at 205 and 210, and then it goes up into the 220s, 230s, and then 250s. I could definitely see it easily hitting that $250 mark in the future. Supply starting to get a little bit lower. 45 copies currently available on TCG Player, with 68 selling in the past month. So I could see a little bit of a continued movement on this card as well. And real quickly, I will touch on PSA 10s just for a reference. These are moving up. Last sold as of yesterday, $649. This is an old sale. And then before that, $575 and $585. So starting to move up with this most recent sale, pushing up to $650. So definitely an uptick there on the Giratina. We'll talk about the Mewtwo in a second, but first we have to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Shiny. If you're watching this video, obviously you collect Pokemon cards, and with how quickly the market has been moving, you need to be tracking your collection in Shiny. You can just scan your cards in. It has an extremely accurate scanner or a very robust search engine, so you can search in anything you're looking for from, your Giratina GG. You can just type that in, and you don't even have to type in the whole thing. It's going to pull it up. For Umbreon, you just start typing in and it's going to pull up everything. So search engine, very robust. Card scanning, very accurate, very quick. And you can track your sealed collection. So if you got booster boxes, ETBs, anything that you have, packs, it's going to pull all of that pricing, most accurate pricing from both eBay and TCG Player last solds. So you can know how much your collection is worth. It's available on both iOS and Android devices, and they have very, very good reviews. So if you want to check out Shiny to track your collection, I highly recommend it. It's what I use to track my collection. So make sure you check out Shiny. Link will be in the description for both Android and iOS versions for you to download. So make sure you check out Shiny. And then let's get back to the other chase card of the set, which is the Mewtwo. Now this one's flattened out a little bit more recently. We talked about this card recently. It had a big uptick. Once it hit that $200 mark, which was about September 9th or 10th, it's kind of just been right there. It's been hovering around that price. So nothing crazy, but you will notice the 1 month snapshot. This is GG44, the one where he is fighting Charizard, that 163 have sold in the past month and 56 are currently available. So we may see a little bit of a scarcity starting to happen, some supply and demand, but obviously all-time high, 292% gain on the year. A year ago, this was a $53 card. It did run up to looks like 127, 125, like late February, early March, and then it kind of fell off, and it was around $100 until recently. So a big uptick, obviously, a really great card, really great artwork, but we're seeing this, at that 200 plus level. So it'll be interesting to see if it can dethrone currently the gold Giratina, see if they can swap places, if the Mewtwo can bump that off. That'll be something that I'll be watching, because I could definitely see a scenario in which the Mewtwo kind of takes over. But I could also see, I don't know, it's like I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I could see the Giratina continuing to climb and hold that #1 spot. It's just something to keep an eye on. PSA 10s for this have been very expensive as well. Like I mentioned earlier, that's kind of like what we're seeing across the board in general. We're just seeing like a huge, like the floor for PSA 10s has risen so much just in general. But last sold's very consistent, 540, 550, and 540. Those are the last 3 sales as of this recording on eBay for that Mewtwo in a PSA 10. We also have cards like this. This is the Deoxys VMAX GG45, the cool one with like the spaceship. It's very unique art. You got like the planets in the background. Super cool art like this. I've always been a fan of this card, but 46% gain just in the past 3 months. And if you zoom out, previous all-time high was around 44.73 in February. And we're like right there. Broke it, technically all-time high, and then it's come down a little bit. So we'll have to see. Lowest listeds are kind of right there at that $44-45 mark. So could see this one continue to move up. 1 year ago, this was a $15 card. So another interesting one to keep an eye on. A legendary Pokemon crazy Deoxys, but this one's just cool. This art really does stand out, and it is a nice card in person as well. This photo on here, they never do it justice, but Deoxys is on the move as well. Then we have this is the Pikachu number 160. So this is not a Galarian Gallery card. It's not a GG. It's just 160. This one's obviously seen a big uptick as well. This one, super busy. It's a really busy card. Obviously, Pikachu stands out, but there's tons of Pokemon in the background. I like the busy cards a lot. I think this is a really nice looking card. And this is one where I do think that the yellow border pairs really well with the Pikachu. I think this one works. As far as this being like the last yellow border set, something people might forget as well. But this card's up 177% in the past 3 months, from $13 up to around $40. Currently, most recent sale kind of at $42. Now this one, there's a lot of copies available, 264 currently on TCG Player. And you'll see, but look how many have sold in the past month, 600, over 600. So could see a little bit of supply and demand issue if this keeps going like that, and probably drive some further price increase, at least with what's currently listed. But I mean, 480% on the 1 year chart, looking really good. $7 a year ago. The previous all-time high before this current run was around $21-22 back in December, and now we're at like around 40. So all-time highs on this Pikachu, and we're right there. That's where we're at with the lowest listeds on TCG, right at that, around that $40 mark. So may see some additional uptick on Pikachu as well as supply starts to dwindle. Just another thing to keep an eye on. And then we mentioned this, I know we talked about Crown Zenith. I think it's been a little bit. I'd have to go back and check how long ago we talked about it, but there's 2 cards, 2 evolutions from this set that I think we're going to start to see some more. Obviously, they're moving up, right? You can see they're in a little bit of an uptick right now, but I think we're going to see some continued price increase on both this Leafeon VSTAR. This is number GG35, and the Glaceon we'll talk about in a second. But in the past 3 months, it's only up 8%. But if you zoom out, that's an all-time high. Previously, we're at around 50 was the all-time high in February. It kind of trickled down. It didn't really fall off too far, right? It was up at around 50. It went down to just like lower 40s. Previously, like 41 was as low as it went back in early August, and now it's shot up to around 54. Most recent sale at 57, and that's kind of right where we're at with lowest listeds. It looks like probably going to definitely creep up at least into the $60 range in the future. But evolutions, we have Evolving Skies going crazy. We have obviously Prismatic Hype is like still going, and so I think that off of that, these evolutions are going to, and they're great artwork. I like this Leafeon here with, I don't know if it's in like a greenhouse with like all these flowers. It's got its tail dipped. It looks like dipped in like some water. I don't know. It's just like, it's great art. But I can see this one continuing to move up as well. And based off of trends that we're currently seeing, 114 have sold in the past month, with 77 currently available. So we're most likely going to see more supply issues. We're going to start to see the cards start to dwindle. But also off of that, you do have to understand, just to reiterate, I mentioned this in most videos when we talk about supply and demand, but we will see as prices go up, we'll see less sales happen. Certain people get priced out. And then also we do see more people start to list. We'll see that people will go, oh, I have that Leafeon, or I have an extra Leafeon, or I have 2 extra Leafeons, I'll sell. And then, you know, so will be additional listings that happen on top of sales slow down as prices go up. But I don't think these cards have gotten to a point where, you know, sales are going to slow down that much, because I think they're still relatively affordable compared to other Leafeons, compared to other Glaceons. And here's the Glaceon VSTAR right here. This is GG40. Another nice looking card. This one's up more in the past 3 months, 28.5%. Current market at 47. Most recent sale at 53. And if we zoom out on the 1 year, previous all-time high, or we're technically right there actually, 47.82, and we're at 47.82. The most recent sale obviously eclipses that. And the lowest listed is all above that right now at 48.50. So technically, I'm going to say, just for the sake of this video, breaking an all-time high, a previous all-time high. 1 year ago, this card was under $20. And as far as supply goes, there's 106 currently listed on TCG Player. 129 have sold in the past month. So that's why I could definitely see these cards start to move up. And if the market keeps moving like in the direction that it has, which doesn't seem like it's really slowing down, we're seeing a lot of growth across the board, singles, sealed. But there is a scenario in which we could see possibly both of these cards. Like, imagine what Crown Zenith looks like with more cards over that $100 mark. I think it ignites even more frenzy for the set. So I'm not trying to make like an official prediction or anything, but I'm just saying I could see a scenario in which maybe you got the Glaceon and the Leafeon over 100, maybe the Suicune's over 100. Just with how accelerated things have been, you just have to keep in mind that that's a possibility for what we are. The arts are just too good, and maybe the supply, like the insane supply that we have had in the past, even though the ETBs were moving up, which we'll talk about the ETBs in 1 second, that we're finally at the point where, you know, there's so many people collecting these cards and more people coming in every day. We have new people coming in that people are getting these in their collection. Like for me, I have these cards, like I have the legendary dogs, I have the Glaceon and the Leafeon. They're not leaving my collection. They're staying. Like, I'm not selling them. They're here. Like some of these cards, like if I had a duplicate or something, or then that's kind of something I would sell. But like, you know, for me, like, oh, I have these cards, so they're not. And I know that there's a lot of the diehard collectors, same thing. They got their copies, and they're not moving. So I think there's a lot of that we're seeing right now. But anyways, so just kind of, it's a little bit of speculation for Crown Zenith. It looks good. Before we talk about sealed, we're going to talk about sealed product in 1 second to end it off. This is the last card we're going to kind of talk about, is the Arceus VSTAR. Now, this one is the second most expensive gold card, and it's not at an all-time high. The previous all-time high was here around $136. A year ago, it was $57. It went up to $136 beginning of this year, fell off. Still showing good growth. When you see explosive growth, usually you see a retrace after, but you want to see it set a higher low, something you kind of hear about in stocks a lot, setting a higher low. But anyways, it did set a higher low of around $89, $90. So that essentially over this period went from 57 to 90, right? But now we are seeing an uptick off of that. It's currently at around $121, which is kind of starting to get closer back to this previous high of 136. So just keep an eye on this card. It could move up as well. Obviously, it's not going to have the demand that the Giratina has, but it is a nice looking. Arceus is popular, and it's another stunning looking gold card. These ones do shine. We didn't talk about the other gold cards in this video either, but just, you know, they're lesser valued, and when the Giratina moves up, these other ones will move by extension. Of people will want to collect the set. Essentially, they're going to want all 4 golds. And that makes sense. Just like this, like if the Suicune's moving up, it's going to pull up the Entei and the Raikou to certain extents, because those are essentially a set. So it's something that's similar that I think we'll see with the golds moving forward. So just Giratina can pull up the other cards. Not that Arceus isn't nice, and the other ones, and the Palkia and Dialga, they're nice looking cards as well. But just Giratina being more popular, obviously, and Arceus in second place. Anyways, to the sealed. Sealed product is in a state where these ETBs, like I mentioned, were $30 at one point. I don't know when. I'd have to go back and look. I remember picking up some for around 30, 35 for Crown Zenith ETBs, but they're up 28% in the past 3 months, just continuing to chug up. But what we're seeing right now is they're at $226, which is expensive for a regular ETB. But I'm seeing the listed median price, which has been a good indicator in this current bull market run that we're in, specifically the last few months. You look at the listed median price and it just tells you exactly where things are going, right? It doesn't take a magic 8-ball or anything to predict where these are going. They're trending up. So listed medians at 280, that pretty much means it's in the near future. You zoom out a little bit and look at how steady this box has been over the past year, 300%. And even back here a year ago, they were 50, still very cheap, $50, $50, $55, and they've just climbed up and up and up. So they're definitely trending upwards. 280s, not that far from 300. So just keep an eye out there. Market's at 226, but all the lowest listeds are 235 and up. So this is one that's going to continue to rise. Crown Zenith ETBs on the way up, trending to 280, then to 300. That's a no-brainer. It's going to happen. Okay, so just keep in mind that these once cheap ETBs are moving up big. And also too, the more expensive the ETBs get, they're already at a point where like probably not a ton of people are opening $226 ETBs. So the more expensive they get, then whatever sealed product is out there that's left is going to start being less and less open. So we're going to see less and less supply of these cards starting to hit the market. So that also does play a factor on the single side a little bit. As also in addition to people holding their collections. This is the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box Plus. Now there's no stamped promo in this, but this one obviously same thing. You're going to see this one's much lower supply too and very expensive. Current market price is $443. Listed median $577. This is just like I said, this. You can't always go off of this, but in this current market, in this current time, it's a for sure indicator. So listed medians at 577. So we're going to see this box continue to trend up. Market's at 443. Lowest listed's at 490. Not that many sales until we're into the $500 range. And like I said, this is just going to continue to trend up and up and up. 284% on the year. A year ago, $115 box. It did run up to around 300 in March, and then it actually had a little bit of a decline to around 250, 260, and then it's on its current run that we're seeing right now. So this is another one that more of a collector's item, if you will. It does look nice. I do like the variance between the two boxes. So a little bit of a different box. And so, of a different era as well. Elite Trainer Box Plus isn't a thing anymore. We have the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes, but they're pretty much the same, just with the stamped promo, more or less. That's the main difference. So ETBs on a big uptick. The Sea and Sky boxes. Check out this. This is another one that these were widely available. They're a huge box. They take up a ton of space. But the promos aren't particularly good either, but you get a ton of packs. And this another one, just a slow chug up 12% in the past 3 months. But if you zoom out, look at this, 208%. A year ago, $56, $60, and now their most recent sale, $206. Market's at 182. Lowest listed right now. There's one listing of 5 at 190, but this is without the box. So this isn't even the full box. If you want the full box, you're at 205 is the lowest listed. So that most recent sale actually matches. And listed median 225. So we're starting to see this continue to trend up. We'll see this, once again, this was a cheap, great way to get packs, a year ago. But now we're seeing it cross that $200 mark. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about booster bundles. Booster bundles were one that obviously was heavily printed as well. We were seeing these drop fairly regularly at big box retailers. Just like restocking, like it felt like constantly. But this is one that cracked the $100 mark recently. It's up 27% in the past 3 months. It broke 100. And I remember talking about it when it broke 100 back here. It looks like in late August. So that's when it broke the $100 mark, and it's continuing to trend up. Listed median price, once again, our indicator of where things are going. Listed median's at 150. Most recent sale, 115. Things are trending up. 115. 1 year chart, 1 year low, like MSRP 27. I think isn't MSRP on a booster bundle like $26. So there was like at MSRP. It came down. It came down, I want to say, because we got a ton that were entering the market. They had ran up a little bit before this, if I remember correctly. Anyways, off of that, after that, they've slowly chucked it up and up and up. So yeah, these are definitely going to be moving up towards $150. So Crown Zenith is at that point. A lot of people forget that, Crown Zenith is Sword and Shield era, right? Last Sword and Shield era, last to have the yellow borders. And we are in the middle of a price movement across the board for Crown Zenith that I think could end up being fairly substantial, like moving into the holidays, moving into, we're going to get into October and November, December. People, it's going to be interesting moving into like Christmas time and kind of where things are at, because the market's a little different than it was a year ago by a lot. So that'll be very interesting. Just to keep an eye on everything. But yeah, Crown Zenith across the board. Let me know how you guys feel about the set. I know this was a little bit longer of a video. I've been kind of going off about Crown Zenith, but I just wanted to get this out there of just, not trying to incite any FOMO or anything, but I'm saying like Crown Zenith, this might be, one of the last chances to get Crown Zenith at reasonable prices. But we've been saying that about, you can take any of these Sword and Shield boxes behind me, Evolving Skies obviously being the big one, but you could say, hey, Evolving Skies at 2,000 was cheap. Or you could go anywhere. Evolving Skies at 700 was cheap. Evolving Skies at 1,000 was cheap. Evolving Skies at 1,500, or any of the, Fusion Strike, you could do the same thing, right? And we're going to say this with Crown Zenith moving into the future, right? Those Crown Zenith ETBs at 250 were cheap. So anyways, so it'll be interesting to see on top of that, like how the singles move with the sealed starting to get really expensive. So that's something that I think will be playing a factor. Like I said, less people opening and stuff like that. So anyways, that's all I have for you this update. Very long one, but hopefully you guys stayed with it. If you're 27 minutes into the video and you're not already subscribed, do yourself a favor, hit the subscribe button with notifications on. I would greatly appreciate it. I do post every single day. I post some sort of Pokemon, usually a market update, so you guys can stay up to date. You guys don't have to do any of the research. I'll do all the research. I'll tell you guys about it. So yeah, you can stay up to date with what's moving. But that's all I have for you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. And remember, it was never a phase.